Here to talk about some movies. Yay! Gonna review The Marvels today, a superhero movie, everybody's favorite movie, especially Twitter's. If you ever want to show the world that you're a pretentious and cynical asshole, get a Twitter account. That's a great way to show it. Anyways, alright, so The Marvels. I'm gonna try and make this review as quick as possible because I don't really have a lot to say. So, The Marvels. It's the newest MCU movie. It's the latest and greatest. It's the third one released this year. And when I watched the trailers and the marketing and all the clips that were released, I looked at them and I was like, this looks fun. Looks okay. It looks like a Marvel movie. Looks all right. And the first Captain Marvel, I've only seen it once. I saw it when it came out, and I remember enjoying it. I remember liking it, but I've never really wanted to rewatch it. So I guess that says something. And I don't really remember much from it other than like the flashbacks from this movie. So, I mean, I remember liking that movie, but I guess I'll give it a 5 since I don't really remember much about it, and I'm not really super interested to rewatch it. And then Miss Marvel I liked. I liked Miss Marvel a lot. Didn't love it, but I thought it was cute. If you watch my review for that show, I think that show's weird because it should have either been shorter or longer. It either should have just been a 2-hour movie, or it should have been like a longer show. You know what I mean? Like a 12-episode show with villain of the week kind of things. Getting to know Kamala, that kind of thing. But for what we got, it was fine. It was okay. It was a decent show. It was fun. It was cute. You know, it's comfy. And Iman Vellani is pretty great as Kamala Khan. She was literally born to play this character. She's awesome. Holy fuck. So with this movie, it's out, and I watched it, and it is exactly what I thought it was going to be, but slightly worse. It was this movie was kind of bad, but I liked parts of it. Alright, well, let's get the good stuff out of the way. Number one, the 3 leads are awesome. Brie Larson is really great. Her character and her acting has been getting a lot of shit, especially as Captain Marvel in the past few years. And I never really had much feeling towards Captain Marvel as a character, to be honest. I think, a lot of people online hate her, and I just think that, people just want something to hate sometimes, and Captain Marvel is a good candidate, so they'll just talk shit about her. I never really hated her. I just kind of thought, I was just kind of whatever about her. I was like, yeah, I mean, whatever. I don't really love her, but I don't hate her. I like Brie Larson as an actress. She's been in a ton of stuff that I like, So, I don't know. And then, but she's really, really improved in this movie. She has a lot more personality. She has much more to work with. There are things about her character that just make more sense now. Yeah. I liked her a lot in this movie. I thought she was decent. Still don't love her. Still don't think she's like a super compelling character, but she was better. She was better in this movie for sure. Brie Larson did a great job, but I think just the character, like writing wise, I just still think she's she's okay. She's all right. Monica, same thing. She was whatever. She was fine. She was nice. Teyonah Parris did an awesome job, but the character, she's okay. Liked her in WandaVision and liked her about the same here. But I did love Kamala Khan in this movie. Thought she was awesome. I really love Iman Vellani in this role, and I think she's great as this character. And this character is just the funniest part of the movie and the most heart you get out of this movie. And I love Kamala's family. I love her, especially I love her parents. I think they're just so likable. They're almost lovable, they're so fun to watch. I love that family, and I love Kamala. I've always loved Kamala ever since she was first introduced, which wasn't that long ago. But I've always loved her character. Kamala in the MCU is Kamala in the comics is definitely more responsible than how she is in her show. But I've always liked that character, so it's nice to see her here. I hope and I'm excited to see them do more with her. I really liked her in this movie. She's definitely the best part of this movie. She steals the show, I would say. She definitely steals the show. So that was the good, and then some of the action's okay. It's all right. Nick Fury's funny. He's in the movie and he's funny. There's a scene with, I don't want to spoil it, but there's a scene that involves the Flurkin that is pretty funny. Really funny. Like, I really like that scene. And this movie, I was sporadically enjoying it. Like, there are sequences that I definitely like. There's one, so if you don't know, the movie's about them, like, basically every time they use their powers, they switch places with each other. And the montage scene where they're, like, trying to work with that, I really enjoyed that. Really, there's an action scene near the beginning where they keep switching places and having to fight in separate areas, and they just keep switching. That's a really well done scene, really fun. No, yeah, really, like that aspect. And that's kind of it. This movie, I want to like it more than I do. It really does feel like, it really feels like they made a good movie. Not a great movie, but a good movie. A solid 3 out of 5 star movie. And the editors fucked it up to bring it down to like a 2-star movie, because the editing in this movie is fucking garbage. Like, there are scenes, like, no scenes are really given any room to breathe. I really get the sense with this movie that they want it to be kind of like Homecoming. They want it to be so light. Like, when they made this movie, I think when they were filming it, they wanted it to be a little more emotional than what we got. And I think in the editing room, they're like, no, we want this movie to just be like a breeze to watch. We want it to be like a cupcake. You know what I mean? You eat a cupcake, you're like, it was good. But you forget about it, and it's, it doesn't take that. It takes, like, I don't know, like a minute to eat. It's quick, but it's nice, And I think they just wanted to make this movie so light that a lot of a lot of stuff gets left on the cutting room floor and just feels underdeveloped. Like, for example, there's a scene where the three of them have these memory things, right, to try and remember something. But during it, traumatic memories from the past come up, and there's a scene where Captain Marvel's memory comes up, and she's talking to Maria Rambeau, who passed away from cancer. And you see like a glimpse, like a little bit of them talking, and it seems like a really emotional conversation. But with the editing of the scene just doesn't give that scene room to breathe, and it just doesn't hit emotionally at all. You know what I mean? Like, if they just cut to that scene and let that scene play out, it could have been really well done. But they just kind of show it to be like, oh yeah, this happened. Anyways, moving on. And immediately afterwards, they like, oh man, Kamala's like, oh, I'm sorry that happened. That sucks. And she's like, oh, it's okay. And then they just kind of get over it. And then they hug, and the scene's over. And I'm like, another bad thing about this movie, the villain. This might be the worst villain in MCU history. I'm not even fucking kidding. This villain is terrible. She is. Oh my god, she's bad. I don't like to shit on actors because, actors, they go through a lot and they're doing their best. But this I don't think it's this actress's fault. I really just think she was miscast. This actress should be playing like a nicer character, because she tries so hard to be intimidating, but it comes across almost like a CW villain. You know what I mean? Like a season 7 of The Flash kind of villain. You know what I mean? Like, you know how shitty The Flash got after a while? It's like that. And the character barely has any screen time, and she barely has any development. Like, the movie starts with her and she's trying to pick something up or whatever. And then they tell you what her backstory is, but that's it. And she has this henchman character, and I don't even think they ever show what happens to that guy. Did he die? I don't fucking know. And the villain is not intimidating in the slightest. you never feel like she's a threat because like they fight her in the movie like 3 times, and every single time she just gets her ass kicked. Like she never beats the shit out of Captain Marvel or Miss Marvel. You know what I mean? She just never feels like a threat. Every time they fight her, they kick her ass, and then that's it. I'm like, oh, this character's not threatening at all. You know, this movie, I think it really wasn't as concerned as being a superhero movie. I think what it wanted to be was it wanted to be a film about these three characters and the relationship between the three. But it is so underdeveloped in that. Like that's the theme, that's the core of the movie are these three characters. Carol Danvers, Kamala Khan, Monica Rambeau. But it is so underdeveloped. I'm gonna get into spoilers now. So if you don't want spoilers, leave, okay? Let's talk spoilers. So, yeah, so Carol Danvers. Okay, so in WandaVision, right? They mentioned Carol Danvers, and Monica's like, you know, I don't want to talk about her. So it makes you think, like, oh, what went down? Why does she not want to talk about Carol? She must harbor some resentment towards her. And then in this movie at the start, they kind of hint at that. She's like, oh, I don't want to talk to Carol because it's been such a long time. And there's a lot of resentment here, and and then they finally have the conversation, and it's like a 2-minute scene, and it just doesn't feel like there's much there. It doesn't feel like there's much stakes behind that conversation. Like this is the first time they've talked in like fucking what 20 years, and it's just like a 2-minute scene, and she's just like, you left. Oh well, I had stuff to do. Oh, okay. Well, I guess that's understandable. And that's it. You're like, really? That was all that buildup for that? Just for them to just talk about it for 2 minutes and be like, yeah, you know what? It's cool. Whatever. Doesn't fucking matter. I don't give a shit. They patch their shit up. Kamala, I really liked her character. She was funny, but she doesn't really grow throughout the movie. She doesn't really learn anything. She doesn't become a better hero. Like I don't know. None of the characters really went on any big arcs, really. You know, like Kamala and Carol, like you get it. Kamala is a huge Carol Danvers fangirl, so she's very excited to see her. You get it. So I would have liked to see them have maybe like a mentor-mentee relationship, or like an older sister, younger sister kind of thing. And they talk a bit, but they never have any really deep, like meaningful conversations in this movie until the end. But it's like a 10-second thing, so you're like, oh, like you never really feel the bond of these three characters that the movie wants you to feel. You never really feel like they're that tight, you know? Like the relationship between Carol and not Maria, Monica is just so like it just feels so underdeveloped. You know what I mean? And then the climax of this movie is pretty. The action in this movie is it's like whatever. It's okay, but the climax of this movie is underwhelming as hell. like it's not that big. The stakes aren't that high. I don't really know what the villain was trying to do. She just wanted to kill Captain Marvel because Captain Marvel destroyed her city, I guess. But it's just this really boring fight scene. It's just the three of them. Like I swear to God, like the three of them are fighting her on a ship in the middle of nowhere. It's just these three versus her. And then like watching it, I was like, oh, this is like the first fight leading into the big fight. You know what I mean? Like, you know when you're playing Kingdom Hearts and you fight Xemnas, but then you beat him and you're like, oh, we beat him. But then he goes into like his final form and he turns into this big ship and you're flying. Like, I thought it would be like that. Like, oh, they're gonna fight her and then beat her, but then I don't know, she'll do something and then they'll have like a bigger fight that's with more stakes behind it. But they just beat her and then she just dies. And I was like, wait, that was it? What the fuck was that? Like, I'm not saying I wanted some huge CGI clusterfuck, but like, it just felt very cheap. Like the climax of this movie was so just, what the fuck was that? It's this really small, boring fight, and then it's over. And then the climax of the movie is that there's a hole in space that leads to another dimension, so they have to what the fuck is going on? Like, there's a hole in the space, and then it goes to another dimension, so they have to close it. That's the climax of your superhero movie? They have to close a hole in space? What the fuck? It's just so weird. And then after it's over, Kamala's parents are like, Kamala, you saved the world. And I'm like, this did not feel like a world ending threat. I know it was based on the context of the movie, but the movie never made me feel that. You know what I mean? Like, it never made me feel like the world was in danger. Because the villain's not a threat. They kick her ass. You know what I mean? And it's not like she's destroying a planet or anything. She's just fighting Captain Marvel in a spaceship. What else? Oh, so the humor in this movie, other than Kamala and Nick Fury, is just kind of bad. There's a scene. Oh, whoa! Did you hear that shit? Oh my god! Scene. So there's a scene where they go on this planet, and the gimmick of the planet is that they only sing. So they go on the planet, and there's like a 10-minute dance and song sequence, and then Captain Marvel's like, "Well, I married this guy for like political reasons," and then they dance and sing, and then her and this guy slow dance for a bit, and they start singing, and they're dancing, and then afterwards she's like, can you make us some new suits? And I was just like, what's wrong with the suits you have now? I hated Captain Marvel's second suit. It's so fucking muted in color. You know what I mean? Like, superhero suits should be bright and colorful, and her suit is like so like desaturated. It's embarrassing. I like the other two suits though. Monica's suit was cool, and Kamala's suit was cool. But Carol's suit, what the hell was that? I was like, what was the point of this character? What was the point of this character? What does God need with a starship? This review's getting kind of long. I better wrap it up. No, but the climax of the movie is really boring. Like, they just stop a hole in space, and the movie ends. The final scene of this movie is Kamala meets Kate Bishop. I really like I don't think I've ever said this, but I really like the Hawkeye show. I thought it was really fun. I really liked it. So it was cool to see Kate Bishop. I was like, oh, cool. I like her. Haley Steinfeld, Spider-Gwen, cool. So I was like, whatever, sure. And then let's talk about that fucking credit scene. Holy shit. So Monica wakes up in the alternate dimension next to her mom. And then Beast shows up, voiced by Kelsey Grammer. And I was just like, this felt like a reshoot. This felt like some shit that was added on like months before. Like, this shit felt like it was filmed like 2 weeks ago. Because the CGI that is some Asylum level shit. That CGI in Beast did not look good. I guess Kelsey Grammer's just too old to be put under all that makeup. So they just CGI'd Beast, but it just did not look good. It just felt like, oh shit, we need something. We don't have a credit scene. Fuck. Let's just, Beast. Dude, if that shit happened like 5 years ago, I'd be fucking screaming in the theater. But now, watching it, I was just like my actual face when Beast showed up was like, it was like that. I mean, it wasn't awful. It was just like, oh, okay. I guess that's cool. He name dropped the professor. Cool. Beast. Yeah, good to see him. Whatever. It was cool to see him. I will admit, it was cool to see him. I wish the CGI was better. But it just, I don't know. Felt like a thrown together scene, you know? But it was cool to see him. The X-Men fan in me was like, yeah, that's cool. That's cool. So overall, this movie is... I think this movie's bad, but I don't dislike it. Do you know what I mean? Like I was just kind of watching it, like, yeah, this is bad, but I'm not. Usually, when something's like bad but not terrible, like I feel that. I feel this distaste for it, where I'm like, I really don't enjoy this movie. But with this movie, I was like, this is yeah, this is objectively, yeah, it's a bad movie for sure. But I'm not like, I don't have this distaste. I think it's fine. Like I'm having a fine time. I'm like, whatever. So I don't know. I guess a 4? 4 or 5? Yeah, sure. If put a gun to my head, I'll say 5 because I did enjoy some things. I didn't hate it. But yeah, this movie, would I recommend it? Yeah, rent it. I don't know if it's worth going to see the theater for, but it's not terrible. So yeah. Oh shit, it's fading out. All right, well, I'll see you guys later. The Marvels. I'll see you guys for Deadpool 3 in July.